So the House Budget Committee voted in favor of $200 billion in domestic cuts over the next 10 years instead. South Dakota Republican John Thune is chairman of the Senate Republican Conference on the other side of the hill. And sir, good morning to you and welcome back to America's Newsroom. What do you think of the move that Ryan's making there on the House side?
Well, I think they're approaching this the right way. If you don't get national security right, the rest is conversation. And everybody agrees that if the sequester takes effect, it will drastically cut the defense budget and impair America's national security interests. So it's really important that a modification to that be put in place. And what the House Republicans have done is recognize that the defense budget represents less than a fifth of all federal spending. And if you're looking to save money in the federal budget, the entitlement programs, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps, represent 3/5 of all federal spending. And that is the part that over and over and over again, President Obama refuses to deal with. That's why we are where we are today. He didn't submit a budget that dealt with those issues, which is where most of federal spending is. And as a consequence, we're now facing this drastic cut in our military, which would really impair America's ability to defend itself.
And the way it works, the House starts it and the Senate has to follow suit to agree or disagree. But what Ryan said is that the House is the only, well, the problem is only the House Republicans are doing something about this. Is there any movement on the Senate side? Do you garner support on the Senate side for what Ryan's doing?
There is, and you know, Bill, there's a lot of effort over here on our side. We've got a number of members who've introduced legislation that would delay or reverse the sequester or come up with a way in which we could distribute these reductions in a different way so that it doesn't take so the military, the national security budget doesn't take the brunt of the reductions. And so there's more than a willingness on the Senate side to do that. But I give the House great credit because they really attacked this problem by going at where federal spending is. If you look at what's driving federal spending, what's growing at 2 to 3 times the rate of inflation, it's what we call these entitlement programs. And that's what the House budget attempts to do, is to go after where the real issue is with regard to federal spending and attempts to avoid what would be drastic cuts. Everybody concedes that point in our national security spending.
But you get the sense that you're not getting leadership or guidance from the White House because you don't think you know where the president is on this.
Well,
that would seem to echo what Eric Cantor said. Where is the president on that? We're the ones trying to provide solutions to this sequester regarding the military.
Sure, it's like everything else. I mean, you can't do anything big here in this city absent presidential leadership, and we haven't had presidential leadership on the issue of spending and debt or entitlement reform. All the big issues that really impact the future of this country and getting us on a sustainable fiscal path, this president has completely punted on, and that is why we are where we are. And furthermore, I mean, not only that, he's doubled down and dug the hole much deeper by expanding government dramatically with the health care bill that passed a couple of years ago, with the $1 trillion that was done in stimulus spending that was borrowed money. We're in a very deep fiscal hole, and we have to recognize that. The only way we get out of it is to address what is really driving federal spending and what is putting this trajectory in place that is going to bankrupt us if we don't deal with that, and that's entitlement programs. And the president's just not been there.
Understood.
He doesn't want to deal with this issue.
He would argue that's what elections are for, and you probably agree with that.
Well, he's had
and allow the
3.5
American
years.
people to decide that. And you wrote at foxnews.com to summarize your piece, President Obama's policies diminishing our prosperity, reducing our freedom, mortgaging our future. He has made things worse. If that is the case, you think you make a good match with Mitt Romney?
Well, I think that Mitt Romney recognizes we've got to fix things. This president has had 3.5 years. What do we have to show for it? We've got 38 consecutive months of 8% unemployment. We've got people on food stamps up by 45%. The federal debt's up by 47%. Gas prices have doubled. Health insurance has gone up 25%. College tuition costs up 25%. That's this president's record. And so he's had 3.5 years to propose solutions. He hasn't been there to do that, and I'm hoping that a new president will.
You could go a long way to change that if you were on the ticket with Mitt Romney. Do you think, again, you'd be a good match with him?
I think he's got a lot of good choices out there, Bill. I expect to be working with him, but here in the United States Senate. I am anxious to work with a president who wants to solve these problems and wants to get the country back on the right track. I believe Mitt Romney will do that, and I know he's got a lot of people up here who are ready to go to work with him.
And I think in the future I'll have another chance to ask you that question. We'll see if we advance it next time. John Thune, Senator, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Bill.
All right.